shit on. Put that shit on. Put that shit on. Look, put that shit on. 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 Pull up, volley, lift the door. My car still is running. Walk out your bitch life like I walked out the field or something. Amy, why you make the go retire? What's your deal or something? Buffalo skin on my coat. She think I play for the Bills or something. She wanna drive the boat. I'm tripping. I'm thinking she talk about a yacht. The boat of Cavalli, I love with my body. I'm tripping all over the spot. This is no regular Birkin bag. This is made out of crop. You figured to put on my sock. I got a ball. How could I not? 300 to put on my watch. This is a mink. No, not a fuck. We ain't supposed to make it this far, we really I came from the block. We ain't supposed to take it this far, we taking this shit to the top. Bet on me, this shit a lot. Counting me out, you a
I can tell I'm back.
Put that shit on.
What?
Well. If it isn't my arch nemesis, Mr. Patel, who I beat in week 1.
Oh, here we go.
Who will be beaten again in week 11?
Is that the right week?
Someone check the
Fact check
stats
him.
on
Fact
that.
check him.
Not sure about that.
You will meet your match this year, and then you will die.
Hang on, Brian.
Hello, and welcome to NFFL Weekly. I'm your host, James Hall.
And I'm Parth Patel. Episode 2, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Episode 2.
The pilot. No one saw it.
Welcome back, folks. We are glad to have you. Sorry for the delay this year, although we would have had an episode out sooner. But we're back. NFFL off and running. 5 weeks in. Lots happened. Let's start from the top. AFFFC. I feel like the tides have shifted a little bit.
Yeah, a few wins last week in our little cross-division matchups, and getting a little more strength. That sweep earlier in the season that kind of hurt us.
Yeah, people may not have noticed, but week 2, AFFFC swept the NFFC. You know, they appear to be the better conference this year. Clean sweep in week 2, and I think almost every team in that division has more points for than ours. Other than our leader, of course.
Ooh.
Got to stop doing that.
What were we talking about?
Well, with the AFFC in mind, let's start it off with the leader this year, Brian, our reigning champ and currently the season leader with the best team and the best record at 4-1. But you know what? Started off 4-0. Finally got his first week. This previous week.
Yeah, Brian team's pretty strong, led by Jalen Hurts, who got as a keeper. Got him Chris last year, actually. And then he's a little weak at the running back position, but now Kenneth Walker II could be leading Brian to another championship.
It's true. I mean, early on, Cordell Patterson seemed to be back in form, but he's kind of cooled off a little bit, which I think might have led Brian to his first win. Not sure if this is the best time for him to be cooling down because he's got a big matchup this week against Jesse, who's 2-3. But you know what? He had a high-scoring week 4 loss against Chris, so that record is not necessarily representative of his team.
Yeah, Jesse's team's pretty strong. A little weak at the running back position. Definitely the tight end right now. Darren Waller going out with the hamstring injury and on bye. He decided to pick up Taysom Hill this week to think like, oh yeah, he's definitely going to rush for 4 touchdowns again this week. Taysom Hill has 1 catch for 2 yards this season. That's Jesse's tight end right now.
That's true. And honestly, Jesse was kind of the favorite coming out of the draft, but I think things are starting to look a little rocky there. You're right. The Darren Waller absence could be huge for him. Jefferson cooled down in the middle. Seems like he could be back in form. Remains to be seen. I don't know what's going on in Minnesota, but I don't know if Jefferson is as secure as he's always been.
El Jefe.
And
Also,
Kyler,
wait,
No.
Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman has been absolute garbage this year. Jesse's prized possession. Had a good week 1, and after that, slowing down around like 9 to 10 points every single week after that. Not looking like the projected second-round pick that people were saying.
You didn't say his name right. Michelangelo Pittman. And lastly for Jesse, I think Kyler's got to step it up just a little bit. Not quite the form that you would expect from Kyler Murray, and definitely not the form that Jesse was expecting.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully Kyler picks it up after DeAndre Hopkins comes back next week.
Yeah, but you know what? I think even with all that, I think Jesse ekes one out against Brian. I think Brian's team is starting to cool down, and I think it's going to continue to cool down. I'm going to give Jesse this one.
I'm giving it to Brian. Kenneth Walker is going to run him to victory with Pete Carroll and Geno Smith's great offense.
All right, fair enough. With that, let's go on to our second 4-1 team in this division. We have Chris. And you know what? A few weeks ago, I personally probably would have made fun of this team a little bit with that running back situation.
Yeah, Brees Hall in the second, Damian Pierce in the fourth wasn't looking the greatest at first, but in recent weeks, Brees Hall is looking like a first-round draft pick already. The Jets' prize possession. That might be the first Jets jersey I get in years, mostly because it says Hall. But Brees Hall, amazing running back. Most talented running back in the draft, most people were saying. But the opportunity was going to be there with Michael Carter. Michael Carter still got 2 touchdowns last week, but Brees still killed it with almost 200 yards.
Yeah, I mean, this running back tandem with Chris's looks like they're heating up at just the right time. Especially, I mean, he had that Trey Lance snag in the draft, and that didn't quite work out, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, that broken ankle for Trey Lance.
Yeah, so he's kind of entered the quarterback carousel with some other teams in our league, so he's not the only one on that island. But Waddle, been dangerous and been consistent.
Yeah, Jalen Waddle really picking up this year. People thought that Tyreek Hill coming by would take some of the targets away, but Waddle still taking them all. Tyreek gets a little bit more of the high leverage touches, but Waddle, unbelievable.
I mean, we'll see with Tua's absence, so we'll see what happens to Waddle, but I think Waddle is a safe bet for now, and could speak trouble for Chris's opponent this week, who is Alex. 2-3, but, he started 0-3, so he's actually turned it around the last 2 weeks. Overall, generally, he's been a good team. He's got a 100-plus point week, 4 out of 5 weeks. Just generally an above-average, slightly mediocre team, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, Alex's team, having DK Metcalf, having the best quarterback in the league, Geno Smith, has been helping. Cam Akers, not the best. We might hear about that on the island later. And Nick Chubb, best running back in the league so far this year. Just like pure rusher. Amazing.
That is true. Chubb, as far as it goes on running back style, he's the one you want. And that Raiders stack, I didn't think it was going to work. It kind of seems to be working.
Yeah, Alex for years has been doing that Packers stack. Packers, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, all of them for years. Then Devontae Adams goes to the Raiders, and Alex is right there with him, with Derek Carr and Hunter Renfrow and Devontae Adams on one team.
Yeah, we had it wrong. Apparently Alex is a big Devontae Adams guy, not a big Packers guy. Yes. But, I don't know, Devontae Adams, is he in trouble?
I mean, he pushed the cameraman. That's not that big of a deal. We'll see.
Fair enough. I mean, all cameramen are the size of you, so. I don't know. Who do you like in this one?
I'm gonna go with Chris. Chris is looking great. His biggest weakness right now is at the tight end position. He should probably trade for like a Tyler Higbee or something, but we'll see what he does in the future.
I agree. I think Chris's running backs stay hot, and unfortunately, I think Alex falls to 2-4. Chris carries on to be 5-1 and potentially take the lead in the AFFC. That brings us to Mike. 3-2, the Bills Mafia combo. Got Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, Mike's team, again, big weakness at running back. He should probably trade for a running back soon. Maybe next week someone might become available for him. Not this week, though. But Josh Allen, unbelievable. The former Wild Boy, Zach Wilson's the new Wild Boy. He's been unbelievable. Throwing the Diggs, they combine for like 50-something points every week. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's quite the tandem, honestly. And you're right, that running back situation over there looks a little dire. I mean, Hines and Penny are basically out. I don't know if Kamara can hold down the fort alone. Mike's got to look for some options.
He had Nyheim Hines, but he cut him, thank God.
And you know what? This 3-2 record doesn't necessarily paint the whole picture. He had a big week 4 loss. I think he lost with 150 points and lost to Connor still. So Mike could have been one of those 4-1 teams. 3-2. He has that big point potential.
Yeah, keep an eye on George Pickens on Mike's team. He's been lighting up these last few weeks with Kenny Pickett and a quarterback. I think that might be Mike's second best receiver coming around the latter half of the season.
And you know what? Mike being able to put up those big points speaks serious trouble for his opponent this week. James, 1-4, man. What's going on?
First round, Jonathan Taylor, hurt. Second round, DeAndre Swift, hurt. Third round, Cortland Sutton, quarterback Russell Wilson, sucks. Fourth round, Al Robinson, sucks. Fifth round, Michelangelo Tomas, hurt. My team sucks. We're tanking.
Oh, no.
And Jonathan Taylor is available to the highest bidder. And Michelangelo Tomas.
Well, that kind of kills my follow-up question I was going to ask. Is this just, you've been putting up numbers. Is this a matchup curse, or is there something inherently wrong with this franchise?
Curses and injuries, my team's done.
All right. And I think I agree with you. Honestly, in this one, I think you fall to 1-5. I think there's going to be an absolute shootout in Kansas City, and Josh Allen's going to go off for a shitload of points. Mike takes it, goes on to 4-2, and you unfortunately fall to 1-5.
And Jonathan Taylor ends up on Will Fork on first date.
And a little teaser for ahead, I think that puts you last in the league. Because up next we have Greg at 3-2. He had a big loss last week, put up 140, so he could also be one of those 4-1 teams, but 3-2, respectable. Honestly, I never understand how Greg's team is good.
Yeah, I mean, somehow he's gotten points out of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And Amari Cooper, I just don't know what's happening. He's starting Big Montana, Will Dissly right now. Mm-hmm. Kyle Pitts has been an absolute pathetic pick for Greg so far.
Terrible.
He needs to get Kyle Pitts off his roster as soon as possible. Maybe even for a tight end like Tyler Higbee, who's getting a bunch of targets.
And you know what? This is the third team we visited with a winning record that has a stack. Here we've got the Los Angeles Chargers stack of Herbert and Williams. So the stacks seem to work.
Stacks are great. Russell Wilson.
Well,
Cortland Sutton.
Win some, lose one apparently. And, I do have a slight bone to pick with Greg. He stole Justin Tucker in that draft.
Oh, what round did he get him in again?
I don't know. I think he got in like the 12th, maybe the 11th or something. A little bit of thorn in my side, though. That's my guy.
Thorn side.
And the disrespect this week. Justin Tucker returning home to the P-Bears all of a sudden. I'm 1-4. I'm in the same boat as you. Combined, we have less wins than the Jets, somehow.
Zach Wilson's elite.
Yeah, Well, I had Zach Wilson last week and he didn't really deliver for me.
Speaking of having Zach Wilson, Parth, you don't have a quarterback on your roster.
Yeah, my QB situation's kind of poor.
You don't have a single one on your roster.
I'm aware. I don't know what I'm going to do with the quarterback situation. We're going to have to see. I think the keeper's bit me in the ass a little bit. ETN, Mooney didn't quite pan out as well as I thought. But you know what? I think this is a team culture issue. Tucker was kind of our guy. Then we lost him in free agency to Greg. And then we were like, you know what? Let's bring in the next guy.
Rodrigo Blankenship.
And then he got fucking cut. And so now I have Young Hoku, and I just don't think the team's heart is there. But all that said, I like my team. I'm giving myself the W this week.
Yeah, and biggest pickup for you this year was that second round, first overall pick. Saquon Barkley's been absolutely amazing. Returned to Saquon like 3 years ago. So having Saquon could be a huge thing for Parth.
And Derrick Henry on a bye this week, so I think I got a shot.
This might be the time.
Think I can pull it out. Go 2-4.
All right.
Speaking of 2 wins, brings us to primetime Paul, baby. Big Paul, 2-3
Yo. 5-5.
Honestly, we don't have to go into the details of Paul's team. He's 2-3 for one reason. He's got the sexy names. He's got CMC. We got Amon-Ra St.
Sun God.
Burrow.
Joey
Zeke.
B. It's Zeke.
And, of course, Hollywood.
Hollywood.
They're all pop stars, but they don't all pop at once.
Yeah, they've been off and on this year. Amon-Ra St. Brown, electric to start the season. But then he got a little bit of an injury. Bitch Boy McCaffrey has Baker Mayfield down there killing him. He could be way better. And Zeke's getting a little old. Paul might be in the market for a running back with just Bitch Boy and Zeke, who's dead, and Antonio Gibson, who's never going to play again. He's going to need a second running back.
That is true. So Paul also in the market for a running back. And you know what? We got Paul, who's got this team of sexy names, versus quite the interesting matchup. Connor. 4-1 team. He's put up big numbers. I don't know if people have noticed this. These are his numbers this week. 160, 170, 140, 125, 140.
Wow.
He should be undefeated for all intents and purposes, but he's lost with one of these big-ass punchlines. And it's because of the names like Tyreek Hill, Mahomes, Hunt, and Kelsey. Similar strategy to Paul. He's got the big names, the big sexy names, but his boys deliver consistently.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that Tyreek Hill was also on this basically 2021 Chiefs team. Going crazy. Josh Jacobs actually delivering for the first time ever in his career.
We got a lot of AFC West delivering points other than the team that we put our... I don't know what the phrase is.
Oh my God. All the eggs in the basket of the Denver Broncos. Let Russ cook. Broncos country. Let's ride.
Out of all the AFC West teams, we picked the worst option.
Russell Wilson, you moved past Matt Stafford on my hate list. Know that. Coming for you.
But yeah, Raiders stack, Chargers stack, and now the Chiefs stack. All working great for these teams.
Yeah, good job, Russ.
That being said, I think that this roster is better than Paul's. I think this roster goes off. Again, I already mentioned it. Shootout in Kansas City against the Bills. I'm giving it to Connor.
I'm going to give it to Paul because I think somehow he comes through and gets a little bit of an improvement at the tight end or running back position this week.
Fair enough. And finally, that brings us to Joey, sitting at the bottom of the AFFC, but posing a 2-3 record, so still better than some of those teams in the NFFC. Joey's, 100 to 130 point team each week. It's nothing. He's kind of right there. He could be a bubble team at the end of the season. Drafted from a bar, I guess that's what you get.
Yeah, Joey seems pretty good. Lamar Jackson leading the way. Lamar Jackson's having an amazing season. But Najee Harris with that foot injury has not been delivering as the first-round pick he is. And then CeeDee Lamb, he's just hanging on waiting for Dak to get back. Hopefully Dak's thumb doesn't ruin the season like Russell Wilson's did last year. But speaking of Russell Wilson.
Now we're back.
Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy has been garbage on the Broncos. And it's not Jerry Jeudy's fault. Jerry Jeudy's a great route runner. It's Russell Wilson, the worst quarterback in the NFL. Seattle, geniuses for getting all that stuff and getting an improvement at quarterback with Geno Smith.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I was just going to touch on CeeDee Lamb. I'm surprised that he was able to keep it up with the quarterback situation in Dallas. I think Joey could turn his season a little bit more around. As I said, I expect him to be one of those bubble teams at the end, which may or may not pose good news. We got a weird matchup this week. He's playing Texas Josh.
Oh my God.
Also 2-3. You know, he had 140 points and lost, but this is the same guy that has also won 2 matchups this year with the lowest points.
Yeah, Josh's team, not sure what's happening there. They just get it done. They're like Tim Tebow. They're mediocre, but they somehow win at the end. That's what Josh does. Dalvin Cook has been less than stellar this year, except for that matchup last week against the Browns.
Yep.
Hopefully he turns the season around. The foe is dominating. And Christian Kirk, surprise 15th round keeper who's somehow been like a wide receiver 1 all season.
Did you say dominate the foe?
Dominate the foe.
I agree. I don't think we quite know Josh's team just yet. It's been a little, unknown. He spent all of his fab on Tua, and then Tua got hurt. So I don't know. I really don't know which way this team goes. I think Tampa Bay does have a good matchup this weekend, but I don't think it's. I think Joey puts up one of those like 120, 130 point weeks. I think that's gonna be enough to get Joey the win.
Yeah, it's looking like Joey's going to win this matchup unless it comes down to Monday night and it's Keenan Allen versus Jerry Jeudy. Because if that's the case, no chance. Why the Broncos on primetime again? Russell Wilson, you suck.
The people want to watch.
No one wants to watch that.
I don't even want to
Don't
watch.
even start being Nathaniel Hackett. He's soon.
I don't even want to watch this team anymore.
Frank Reich.
Sorry, because hockey season starts tonight. Actually, it started last night, but for me, it starts tonight.
And that's our matchups for the week. Now let's head to Parth with the Lineal Championship.
That's right, folks. Lineal Championship, we're 5 weeks in. I started the season as the champ. Unfortunately, lost it week 1 to Jesse. Jesse then lost it to Paul. Lineal Championship, been bouncing around quite a bit this year. Finally went to Brian, and Brian's the only team to have retained the Lineal Championship for more than a week so far. However, last week he lost it to Mike. Current Lineal champ is Mike. Again, good matchup for Mike this week, so let's see what happens, but the belt has definitely gotten around. And with that, we're going to go back to everyone's favorite segment, James on Survivor Island. Take it away, James.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the season premiere of Survivor Island. Thank you. All right, so I know a lot of you guys have been wondering, where's the show been? Where's Survivor Island? How am I supposed to know who's still on the island, who's still off the island? Well, Josh, let me help you figure that out. The last few weeks, we've had a little bit of technical difficulties due to our island actually being located off the coast of Puerto Rico. Now, some of you may know they've been having a little bit of problem with electricity recently. But no worries, we're back and back with a vengeance. Week 1, Alex was the first person kicked off the island due to that Dak Prescott injury and Cam Akers scoring 0 points on 3 carries. Pretty pathetic. Next was Parth, my co-host. Unfortunately, he only scored 87 points despite 31 from Cooper Kupp. But the rest of his team was basically in the single digits. Then week 3, we go to Jesse. Jesse, disgusting performance. Josh will tell you that it was disgusting, and he should be ashamed of himself. Because Jesse's 72 points, led by a 4.4 from El Jefe, Justin Jefferson. And then the David Montgomery injury really knocking him down. Week 4, though, Josh kind of got the bad luck on his side. Josh only scoring 93 points due to that Tua injury on Thursday night. And Mark Andrews only scoring 3.5 over the weekend. In our most recent week, Joey was the first person in triple digits to get kicked off the island. Kittle had a pretty pathetic game, and then that was the last of Joey. Now, Connor, these last 3 weeks, Connor has had immunity for 3 straight weeks. Mostly due to that Mahomes-Kelsey stack, which has been unstoppable recently. So we have to try to get Connor, to settle down a bit. All right, that's really all we have. Before we go, let's talk about C4. C4, the preferred energy drink of Survivor Island. All right, and that's all the time we have today. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next week on Survivor Island.
don't know if we have confirmation that he's okay. Well, with that, we do have a new segment this week. We mentioned it before. Thorn in our side, Greg from down the hall.
What the hell was that segment?
That was really uncomfortable. Well, that was Greg from down the hall, I think. All right, James, get us out of here.
All right. Thank you, as always, for watching NFFL Weekly Season 2.
Episode 2.
Season 2. Episode 1. Michael? I would say good luck. My team's trash. You know what? Whatever. Barth?
I was going to do the same thing. My team also kind of sucks. But you know what, Greg? Let's see what happens. Good night!
Like bitch FCMC, all passes thrown to me. PPR Chico D Henry can't fuck with me. Play for the dirty D, Echo speed button these. I am the RBA, yeah. They said I killed the boy, bitch I ain't killed no one. I need more touches than Kim, but you should feed the boy. Feed the boy, feed the boy.
Why'd you do that? Stop it! Put it away. No?
My eyes are watering.
This will be the most wired episode we've ever had.